Welcome. So today we're going to do Parshas Masei, and we're going to finish Sefer Bamidbar. So in the beginning of the Parsha, Masei goes through all the Masoyas, 42 Masoyas. They went from this place, all these different places that they went to. And the Parsha starts like this. Eilim and Refidim, they left from Ramses, and it tells you Mitzrayim mekabrem es asher hika Hashem behem kol b'chor. Mitzrayim was busy with burying the b'choros that died. Why does the Torah introduce the list of the Masoyas, the itinerary, where they went from this place to that place? Why is that introduced with the Mitzrayim mekabrem, that they had many funerals? What does that have to do with the Masoyas? They left Mitzrayim, and they went from here to here to here to here 42 times. The fact that when they left, the Mitzrayim were being mekabrem, what does that have to do with anything? So I think maybe you could say that back in Parshas Shlach, so the Meraglim went to scout Eretz Yisrael. They came back and they said, Eretz Eichelos Yeshvei. It's a land that devours its inhabitants. So Rashi says, why is Eretz Eichelos Yeshvei? B'chol makom she'avarnu mitzanu kovrei mesim. Wherever we went, we saw them burying the dead. Wherever we went, there were funerals and funerals. So apparently, the land, devours its inhabitants. But Kadosh Baruch Hu also l'toiva. The Rebbeinu Shalom made this for their good. K'dei l'tardem be'evlam v'litnu leiv le'elu. That the people should be busy with their funerals. They shouldn't pay attention to the Meraglim. They shouldn't draw their attention. Should leave them alone. They should be able to check it out. So that the Rebbeinu Shalom made to be funerals, and but they took that and they turned it around, and they said there's a gnai, there's dibas ha'aretz. This is what they did. Over here also, Mitzrayim mekabrem asher hika behem kol b'chor. So Rashi says trudin be'evlam. The reason why they were so, what is he saying here? That they were busy with their avelos burying them. And chacham says, "Hu tama sheyotzu b'yad Rama." Why did they go out with b'yad Rama? Fisho yitrudu be'evon v'roilem pnai la'akvam. That's because they were so busy with the funerals, they couldn't. They were going out and they were too busy. They didn't stop them. They were too busy with their funerals. So really, it's the same thing. So he's showing you that Mitzrayim was mekabrem, and they were busy with the funerals. The Meraglim did not learn from this. The Meraglim, why was Mitzrayim mekabrem? Because for our good. The Meraglim did not learn from this. The Meraglim went and said, Dibas Oretz anyway, Eretz Eichelos Yeshvei. And that's what caused the Masoyas. The reason why there were Membeis Masoyas is because of the Meraglim, because they didn't take their lesson from Mitzrayim Mekabrim to see that the Rebbeinu Shalom did l'Tayvosam, that they were Mekabrim and did not interfere with them. They saw this in Eretz Yisrael, and they didn't say this is what it is. They said it's because Eretz Eichelos Yeshvei, and that's why they had to spend 40 years in the desert and all these Masoyas. So in the list of the Masoyas, it doesn't really say anything. It's just a bunch of, they went from here, they went through there. They went from Dovka to Olush, and from Olush to Refidim, and from Refidim to Midbar Sinai, to all these different places. Sometimes there's some kind of a remez in the name, like Kailos, I think Jens Mazil says it means Koirach. Kivras Hataiva is because of the Mesavim, but that was the name of the place. So just tells you Vayisum Mechatzeres, V'yachnu Barisma, Barisna, V'yachnu Barim Aparetz. Just tells you the names of the places. Doesn't tell you what happened. Two things it says. Vayisum Mora, they left Mora. Vayivoyu Eilima, they came to Eilim. Uve'Eilim shteim etzre einas mayim v'shivim tmorim. In Eilim, this pasuk also is in Parshas B'Shalach, that there were 12 springs of water and 70 palms. Okay, fine. That's what happens. V'yisum Eilim, they went from Eilim, they came to Yamsuf and Midbarsin, Dafka went to Olush, v'yisum Olush v'yachnu b'Refidim. Now they came to Refidim. Now it tells them about Refidim. V'hoya sham mayim l'am lishtois. There was no water in Refidim. There was no water. And then it goes, it's from Refidim v'yachnu b'Sinai. These are the only two things that it says in the Masei. It's telling you what happened in that place. It tells you they came to Eilim and they found and came to Refidim and there was no water. It doesn't even tell you what happened with no water. It doesn't tell you that the Rebbeinu Shalom told Moshe v'kisa b'tzur and you're able to give them water. It doesn't tell you. It just says when you came there was no water. So what are these two things? So, and if you say that the mayim is a remes for Torah, first of all, it's mayim. There's other mayim. There's Mei Meriva, there's Mei Mora. There's not the only mayim, these two. And if it's a remes for Torah, so every mayim is a remes for Torah, and mayim at Har Sinai is a remes for Torah. So why does it say these two things? What's the pshat? What is the meaning? So the Rambam says in the Moira, Chelik Gimel Perek Nun, why does the Torah tell you all these messiahs? What's the point? These are all a bunch of names and tells you these things. Why? So the Rambam says that the Torah tells you these things, that you should be able to go to these places and take a look at them. You might think that all these messiahs were places that were close to inhabited areas. There was food there was water, there were services, whatever. And so it wasn't the time that they were in the Midbar for 40 years was not so shloika derech hateva. Everything was normal. They came here. They were like today. You have Arabs that live in these oases in the middle of the desert, and I guess they have houses or whatever they do there, and they're okay. So maybe these places were places that were okay. Not tells you the name of the places, and you could go there and you take a look. You see this desolate. Maybe you'll find a little bit of water there. Maybe not, but there's certainly not an abundance of water. Nothing to eat. Dry, snakes. It's a terrible place. All these places, you check them out, and then you'll understand that when Klausner went to these places, you understand that there was a special hashgacha during the all these masais in the Midbar, and this will be mechazik your emunah. Now, we don't know where these places are, but Dafka. Where is Dafka? If you want to look at Dafka, it would be pretty hard. I know so the archaeologists today have places where they think they identified and this is that, but let's not get into that. I mean, it's Parshas, we don't know where it is, and if somebody speculates, but in the time after they came to Eretz Yisrael for a few hundred years, then people knew. They knew Dafka is over there. They knew. They slept on the maps. Dafka was still there, so they knew where Dafka was. So they were able to go to Dafka and check it out, and they looked at it, and they saw this is taka amazing that Klal Yisrael was able to have a chaniyah in such a place, unbelievable, and that was mechazik their emunah very much, and this went into their zechira klalis, their collective memory, and now we also know that the time of the Midbar was an amazing time of shloika derech hateva, and Hashem took care of everything for the Shvatim, everything. Today, Taka, we don't know where it is, but this was the purpose of giving all these messiahs. Now, it says there were Shneim Esra Enis Mayim in Eilim, 12 springs, and 70 palms. So Rashi in Beshalach says that the 12 springs were connected to Shvatim, and the 70 Tmarim were connected to Shivim Zkenim. He brings some Mechilta, 2 pshatim. One pshat, he says, okay, I didn't mark it, but I'm telling you what it says. The first pshat, the Mechilta says that it was Nivra B'nes right before they came there, it was Nivra B'nes, And the second pshat says that it was muchen for them from Sheishes Meibreishis. But either way, the Eilim were there because of the Shvatim, because the Shvatim were coming, and the Tamarim were there because the Skenim were coming. That's why they were there. But Be'etzim, Eilim was not supposed to have trees with springs. It wasn't supposed to have trees. It was supposed to have nothing. But because of the Shvatim and the Skenim, the Rebbeinu Shalom made that Eilim has these things. Therefore, once they left, it was gone. Because Eilim Be'etzim didn't have springs and trees. It was only there because of the Shvatim and the Zekanim. Once they moved on to the next Masei, it was gone. Refidim, on the other hand, was the opposite. It says, Yonson ben Zil says, Hoyel v'rafu yedeya min ha-mitzvahs isyabshu mabui v'lehoya moy l'amal l'meshti. Because they had a rifyon, they slipped in the kiyum mitzvahs. Therefore, the wells dried up, and they had no water. So v'lehoya mayim lisha is telling you that there was no water. Why was there no water? Because they had a rifyon mitzvahs. So it was a peronius for Klal Yisrael that came to Refidim that they didn't have water, because really there was water in Refidim, but because it was Rafi Deim mitzvahs, the wells dried up. Again, once they left Refidim, it went back to the way it was. It was not the natural state of Refidim not to have water. It was because of Rifyim and mitzvahs. So once they moved on to the next place they went to, wherever it was, then once they went on, then it went back to its natural state, and we had water again. So the Torah is telling you like this: you're going to come check out these places. You're going to go to Dofko, you're going to go to Olish, you're going to see the places, you can see what it is. But you're going to come to Eilim, and you're not going to find water, you're not going to find palm trees. So he's saying, the Torah is telling you that at that time there was, but now there isn't. That's what the Torah is telling you. You shouldn't think that it's not accurate. It's accurate. How you're going to come, you're not going to find it because it's not there today. It was at that time. All the places the Torah doesn't tell you anything. But in Eilim, the Torah tells you the Eilim that they went to, that Eilim had water. Otherwise, Eilim didn't have water. And when we went to Refidim, it's not telling you what happened. You hit the rock, the water came. Not Nageya. He's telling you the Refidim that they came to, there was no water there. So Mela, you're going to come there, you're going to say, wait a minute, the Torah is telling us things are not accurate. We're coming to Refidim, there's plenty of water. No, the Refidim that they went to, the Torah tells you, they had no water. The Eilim that they went to, they had water and they had trees. That's why only these two things. Because these are the only two places that are different today from how they were at the time that the Masei is. Okay. I want to finish with one small thing. So the Bnei Tzelafchad, they got the right to Yashin, the Chelik of Tzelafchad, and we learn out from here, Nachlas Abanos, if there are no sons, the daughter's Yashin. So they were upset, the people. So they came and they said that what's going to happen, they're going to marry they're going to marry somebody from the Shib Bnei Shiftei Bnei Yisrael, and then their nachla is going to go over to a different shevet. What's this lashon Bnei Shiftei Bnei Yisrael? I mean, the shevet achar, I should say. V'hoyu echad me shevet achar. What's Shiftei Bnei Yisrael? Everybody's Shiftei Bnei Yisrael. What are they saying here? V'hoyu echad me Shiftei Bnei Yisrael. So I just had a thought, maybe it is, that in Great Britain is a country and has parts to it, It has England, it has Scotland, and it has Wales. These are all different countries, but altogether they're one country. They're Great Britain. I think that maybe the people of Ever Yarden thought of themselves as Scotland. That we have like this part, Ever Yarden. We have 3 states, 3 Shvatim, and then we have the main place of Eretz Yisrael, which has 9 Shvatim, and so it's like a confederation of 2 parts. All of it is Eretz Yisrael, but one part is in Ever Yarden, and the other part is in Eretz Yisrael proper. Maybe they called the main part of Eretz Yisrael, they called that Shiftei Yisrael, and they were Shiftei Bnei Yisrael, and Ever Yarden was Shiftei Ever Yarden. They thought themselves as not quite integrated as being one country, one ummah. They thought themselves as being 2 parts. Like later, you had the Taka in Eretz Yisrael. You had Machas Yehuda, Machas Yisrael, and they were all one country, but they had a different king, they were different, and they fought with each other. That was like a little bit extreme. But over here, they weren't fighting with each other. But, you guys, you are there, you're in Eretz Yisrael, you're doing your thing. We're here with our sheep, and we're different. We're not the same place. So they were concerned that the Nachla would go over to Shiftei B'nai Yisrael. Some people on the other side of the Yarden, they would get a hold of the Nachla. If over here in the Ever Yarden, they went to Ruvain, they went to Gad, it went to Menashe, that didn't concern them so much because it stayed in Scotland, it was still here. But if you're going to go, somebody from England is going to go marry them, and then England's going to get a chelik in our lands, that didn't want. Maybe it's just a thought. Thank you very much, and the Mitzvah next week starts Sefer Devarim.